Okay, so on to part two. But before I forget, before I move on to Texas, I forgot a couple of stories from Ohio years. One is when she and her friend Rose Datesman took one of my good friend Andy Datesman and I to Washington with them to protest nuclear proliferation, to lobby against some defense bill, and we. Were visiting the halls of Congress when Andy and I, who were maybe the most politicized 10-year-olds in the country, spotted in the halls of the Senate our hero, Gene McCarthy, and ignoring the protestations of our mothers, bolted toward him as if he were, like a normal kid would bolt towards with Mickey Mays or Willie Mantle. Indeed, almost bowling him over in our enthusiasm, but and our mom scurried after us to apologize for almost tackling the former presidential candidate. But he was good natured about it. Another memory was going with her to an inner city neighborhood to support the United Farm Workers and Cesar Chavez's boycott of grapes. And I don't think anyone bought grapes that day. What else do I want to mention? Yes. Also, I almost forgot her years as an environmental activist. She worked for a while for the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana Regional Council of Governments. I think this is Director Dori Montezuma. And her job, as I recall, was the seemingly quixotic quest to clean up the Ohio River, which you Pittsburghers who are listening, and I know you're here, will realize the impossibility, the seeming impossibility of that task. And I don't want to fall into the fallacy of post hoc ergo propter hoc, but now, 50 years later, the river is in fact cleaner. I'm not saying she did it by herself, but I have swum in that river, and it is tolerable, believe it or not. Couple of still dear friends from that time, Margot and Glenn Lindahl, and their love and greetings. I think this was a trip to New Orleans, maybe. And here is Margot and you, I guess, in Texas. And there's another Texas photo. I think I remember this purse being left on a trip somewhere. Anyway, so later we moved to Texas, where Mom was partner in a bookstore and had some other jobs after that. But bookstore quickly became a famous gathering spot. Well, she quickly became the president of the local Independent Booksellers Association. And our bookstore was frequented by the most interesting people in town, journalists and novelists. So once again, our lives were surrounded by interesting folks. And so, Mom, some of these were contributed by Roz Jaffe. So he was the book merchant. And I remember some fantastic characters, lunches with Brian Woolley and dinners with Leon Hale and Bill Marble. And hey, Mom, do you remember Bill Cole? What a character. Anyway, we had on the staff, there were opera singers and Ivy League grads, somehow working for minimum wage in a small bookstore. Wonderful memories of places to hang out in Texas. And here we are, I think in those days, I believe at Jane Holohan's house, who I'm in touch with on Facebook and sends her greetings and contributed this picture and some others you'll see later. Looks like strawberries. Well, anyway, Mom, here's a photo of Rex Hayes from Texas days at his ordination, I believe. I think sent also by Roz Jaffe. And here are some kind of random photos of people you love from, this is the Cape in 2009. There's Julie's contributed a lot of photos. I think this is one from guess Shenandoah, maybe. Oh, and here we are. You are the matriarch and leader, as everyone knows, of our family Zoom sessions, which I hope continue soon. And hoping that Corey's recovery continues. Oh, there's a mom, also a fine athlete in many ways. Here's Mom in Provence. All of you know she's become quite an artist. Here's some drawings from Provence. Oh, here's New York City, Queens in 2017. Beach, Thailand, very much a world traveler. She's visited Thailand twice and met her granddaughter, Aura. And there's a few more random, very stylish photos. She's also made us some nice illustrated books. And Aura, who's now 6, and has a huge collection of wonderful digital toys with the buzzers and whistles, but most often, and store-bought books, but most often she picks out Mom's handmade books for our reading hour. There's a few extracts from some of them. Mom's also illustrated some of my favorite lyrics and poetry. They're my most treasured family possessions for sure. Some more, the old wheelbarrow, red wheelbarrow. Okay, now it's time for the roasting part. This wouldn't be complete without a roast. So now all of you in Virginia know Mom is a fantastic chef, and indeed she is. I can attest to that as the scullion that she can. Sometimes she cooks meals so intricate and fancy that it requires a washing of every pot or dish in the kitchen twice in one meal. But that wasn't always the case. Understandably, in a way, as a working mother of 4, she wasn't much of a chef in the 60s and 70s. In fact, I've had too much macaroni and cheese and way more hot dogs than a person should have eaten an entire lifetime. But and sugared cereals enough to give you hypoglycemia. But the worst thing, if you try to offer me a fried bologna sandwich, you will not be my friend anymore. Oh, here's something I forgot. I did not know that she'd appeared on C-SPAN, but until I kind of researched this little tribute. And if you watch the video, you'll see she actually got a laugh. The only one on book TV that's ever been had, I think. Ah, so continuing with the roast part, Mom is the slowest swimmer you've ever seen. Very graceful, uh, very buoyant, but very slow. She once wrote an article about the Blue Ridge Swim Club, which is a 300-yard long swimming hole in Virginia. And I don't know, I'm a pretty good swimmer. I guess I could swim maybe 200 yards in about a minute. No, 100 yards. 100 yards in 2 minutes. She is the opposite. She can swim 2 yards in 100 minutes. I don't think she ever made it to the end of this swimming pool if it was 300 yards long. What else? The only other foible I can think of is that although she's the most well-read person I know and a devoted woman of letters, her spelling is pretty bad at times. And some of these lovely illustrated books have misspellings, such as vegetables, that I've had to correct. Also, banana doesn't have 3 N's. I've had to tell Laura. What else? So let me finish with a couple things you may not be aware of. Mom may be too humble to mention other aspects of her volunteer work, including tutoring Rajabu. And I forgot this lady's name, Mom, but she sent me very poignant, nice memories, and this picture is part of the tribute. So anyway, Thanks for everything, Mom. Happy birthday. There is a part 3 with some other contributions coming. Happy birthday. See you soon.